Hey guys, today's shave is going to have the Nacet in it I used at the last shave. So it'll be use number 11 on that. Try to find a dry spot to put it. And it's going to go inside this Timeless. And I was comparing the Timeless and the Game Changer 85 or 84. And this is the 68 that I was kind of comparing it to because I'm big fans. And I had somebody ask me questions about those two razors. And I enjoy both of them so much, and it had been so long since I shaved with them, I decided to go ahead and shave with them each in turn, so I'll be able to give him some recent information. This is the barber pole handle, 85 millimeter, and the scalloped base plate, and of course the smooth top cap. The Semogue Owners Club, and this is the Taj handle. It just looks so great. I've got another Semogue Owners Club, but this handle just looks superb. It's just a resin that kind of looks like ivory, and I just couldn't help myself. I thought, well, it can be, the Semogue Owners Club is a little more expensive than some of the other Boars out there, but I said, okay, well, here's a low price that's maybe about half price, and if I'll ask on the used market, see if anybody's got one that just didn't like it. And I put a notice out there, and somebody responded back saying, hey, here's this retailer who's got it on sale at about your price. And I thought about it, and I didn't do it because I assumed I'd have to pay shipping. So by the time I added shipping to it, it was, come on, you need a big break on the price if you've already got that brush in hand in another stain or in another handle. Well, it turns out that particular vendor, I think it's the razor company, had a free shipping above $10, which is remarkable. You don't see that. And so I pulled the trigger. And so it's got the same shape. It feels a little fatter than some of the other Semogues that have this same shape. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I held them up together. It didn't look too much bigger. The soap we're going to use today is Puzzle from Declaration Grooming. It is in the Milksteak base. It is a part of a contest, and I think either today or tomorrow they're going to release the form where the people who are playing the contest are going to fill out the form and try to guess the 4 scents that make up the soap and the scent that's in the soap and the aftershave. And then if you win, you get a big cool prize. I have no clue how close I'm going to be. I feel like I might get a couple of the scents right, but you have to list the percentages as well, which is great because if a bunch of people guess those same 4 ingredients, the percentages maybe can help narrow down the actual winner. Okay, so while my hands are dry-ish, let's go ahead and put that Nacet blade in the razor. This is not my 220 use Nacet. This is my 10 use Nacet. And I keep both because the 220 is going to be my marathon. I'm going to see how long I can go. And here, just to show you the Timeless, it's got these cool rails that help to keep that blade perfectly aligned once everything is installed. And here, got a slot there for those rails there. This is the polished version of the Timeless and not the matte version. Okay, and then when it's finger tight, let's just look to make sure everything is aligned. And with the Timeless, the way it sits on the threads and the way the blade has to flex as it's tightened up, I often do get that little popping sound when I am putting the razor together. I'm interested in getting the 68 in the smooth bar sometime because I think I like the look might be really cool with the smooth top cap. I wonder if there's a performance difference. Timeless website says that it's a little bit more mild, but I wonder, surely they would know, right? Okay. This brush, I just did a test lather with it, with some Wilkinson Sword in the blue tub. I actually ordered these in the same time because this was on sale as well for just $1 or $2, and I'd never tried it, and I always see it online. And I added too much water to it, and boy, it lost its slickness. Totally lost its slickness. And then so I redid it. I started with a thicker I didn't add as much water, and I could start to feel that slickness in there. I didn't take it fully to the final stages of the of getting it to where I put it on my face, but I did prove that I had overwatered it before, and it's capable of having some good slickness. I'll try it in a normal shave later. All right, let's do a we'll do a 30-second load, and there we go. Start at the 30 mark. See how this brush that's 15. This brush is, you know, it's been through one practice lather. It's been soaked for about an hour now. You know, I mean, it's had water in it, and it has been through a practice lather with a lot of vigorous working. So we'll see how everything goes. I am just watching this soap go down and down, and I just haven't had that with other soap, so I imagine it's just a little softer than most of the rest of them. So this is my first actual shave with this brush. Boar brushes do need to be broken in. They can become extremely soft after broken in when the tips split. So if it's got 2,000 tips right now, then when they split, you can have 2 to 3 times as many tips. So 4,000 to 6,000 tips is what you'll end up with, and so the effect is a smoother, softer feel on the brush. And I think a lot of people just need to use their Boars and use them for a while, and they'll be rewarded. Now, most of my Semogues are comfortable even in the young stages, less than 20 uses. And so it's a joy to watch them get even better. Okay, so we will take, there was probably a little bit more water in this brush than I usually come into the shave with, so that may throw off my amount a little bit, but that's all right. I think it's splayed enough to where I think it's going to be a good experience. Yeah, this brush I put it in the soak an hour and 5 minutes ago, so it's been wet for a little bit. I soaked it 30 minutes prior to the first test lather with it. So that Wilkinson sword acted as just an opportunity to flex the brush and work it, as well as a soap to clean it from, you know, factory. Two teaspoons now in it. Very much different from the Wilkinson sword. This is a soap that stays down low. Probably skin conditioners and oils and butters and things that they've put in it that cause it to be a little heavier, and so it's not going to foam up quite as much as the Wilkinson sword did. And this doesn't look nearly as bubbly, probably because of those same attributes I just mentioned. So we've got 2 teaspoons in it. How elastic is it? Let's just kind of look at it here. That's pretty elastic. This soap has a pretty nice range to where it looks nice and elastic over a few different water amounts. I've had it look really good and be too wet, too thin, didn't have a creamy real feel to it. I've had it look really good and need more water. You know, need like another teaspoon of water. So you may have to figure out another milestone, another criteria to when you dial it in. Good thing is, if you use the same brush and load for the same amount of time, then time or brush revolutions in the container can be fairly reliable if all your other factors are the same. I forgot to pre-soak my face. Let's do that. It's because I initially thought that my Wilkinson Sword test lather was going to be my pre-wash. That's what I said in that video. But then when I added enough water, I added a lot of water to the lather, and then I looked at it and it looked nice and elastic and stuff. It was just too wet. I had added too much water and killed it. There wasn't going to be very much protection for my skin because I put it in my fingers and the slickness just wasn't there. So I did not end up putting it on my face. But just to make sure, like I said earlier, I went back, tried it again, adding a lot less water. I didn't finish it, but I felt it after just adding, a teaspoon of water, and the slickness was there. So I know that it's a shavable, workable soap with some good slickness. All right, let's just try this out. Again, a little water. So my face didn't have quite as much time to have those bristles soak in some water, but that should be fine. About 24 hours since my last shave. Maybe a little bit less, I think, actually. Let's see how, and this first time using it. Not bad. That's comfortable. Definitely not scratchy. Anything like that. And boy, I know these bristles, they are going to get soft, soft, soft. This brush is also one that has some enough loft to really be a big splay brush. And so if you have this brush and you want to reduce that, you're likely going to have to use some O-rings or something like that to rein in the knot a little bit. Comfortable. It's nice. Since my skin didn't have as much time with the water, let's just give it a little bit more time with the lather. Work the lather in, moisten the stubble for just a little bit longer. Nice massagey feel from this brush at this stage. And so this is usable just right out of the box. It will change more during break-in, but there are some. I remember my first brush that I broke in. It was a Semogue 830, and it was my first Boar. Got off Amazon. I didn't know anything about other shave forums. All I knew was Amazon. I knew the comments, and nobody really spoke about the break-in period. I was so frustrated with the first maybe 10 shaves, maybe 8 to 10 shaves with that brush, because I had to go back to the puck. It wouldn't, the lather would just die on my face because the bristles just weren't broken in yet. And I also didn't know you were going to need to soak it. I like to soak my boars for at least 3 minutes. It's possible I wasn't even doing that. Then later on, finally at use 14 or something like that, it really switched, and it was like this and enjoyable. All right, the mild and smooth 68 gap from Timeless. Really enjoy this shit. Yeah, see, this is the same blade. The Game Changer has a little bit more blade feel than this does. This masks the blade feel a little bit. I mean, it's not totally smooth, but you do get a little bit. But the feel that you get on the Game Changer isn't even a sharp edge moving across your skin. It's just like the edge of a credit card or something like that. It's comfortable as well. And so I hope that, I mean, this is just terrific. You know what? It might be, they may be similar in so many things, but then this one might be, might have a different feel because of the weight of the head. It's going to absorb a lot of that feel. I noticed when I used an aluminum razor for the first time that I was having to pull it through the hairs. Where a stainless steel razor or a heavier razor, I wouldn't have to do that. Water out of the beard, don't want it to mess up the lather. And so then this could be heavier, and so it's masking some of that feel, and so it feels smoother. The Game Changer is going to be a better option if you really need to get in tight places. I don't have to shave the mustache area, but some people do. I got a feeling the Timeless would be able to do that, but maybe the Game Changer with its thinner head might be a little easier. So it looks like this brush is going to be kind of a delight to use from day one, as long as you do one good vigorous practice lather, and you know, before your shave it ends up to have like an hour of soaking for the first use. That probably helped it to work together and work itself out, and all those work words with prepositions after them. All right, cross grain now, and this is where this guy is so smooth. It's possible that you may have to work to find the angle for this one, because, you know, mild razors, the one drawback they have, to keep them mild, they have to recess that blade to have a little bit less exposure. And so if that's the case, then the sweet spot, the angle at which you can shave, is smaller than an aggressive razor or a moderate. And so it's possible that you might need to spend a little time improving your skill at finding the angle. But for me, I believe it was pretty natural. And this one is so mild and smooth, I can jump into this area and I might even be able to go against the grain and be just fine. And that's very uncommon for me. All right, rinse time. All right. Now, I believe there are people out there that say that the 68 is too mild for them. Now, does that mean that they just didn't spend enough time trying to find that sweet spot? I might say probably, but I don't know. I mean, the tech is really mild, but it's been shaving every face and skin type and beard type out there for 40 years. Longer than 40 years, right? Well, maybe 40 years. No. Longer than, yeah, definitely longer than 40. Because they kind of ramped, they switched in something like 85. They switched. There's a point where they switched to Semogue for the manufacturing instead of brass. Everything before that was all brass. And they have just been used all over the world for all kinds of people giving close shaves. And so if you can't get a good shave with a tech, it's your technique or your lather making skills. If you try to use a tech with a sucky lather, it possibly may not, work that well for you. Of course, if you're new to Milksteak, I've used it several times in this scent. I've also got it. I got it in Dark Fall when Milksteak first came out. I really like that scent. I do enjoy Milksteak, this formulation here. I like Icarus a little better, it seems. I tried that the other day. Able to just zoom really fast because this razor inspires a lot of confidence. It feels good. I am just sure I'm going to be super impressed with the closeness of this shave. Now here's the thing. This feels smoother than the Game Changer 85 or 4. But because it's smoother, I'm able to shave in this trouble area in more ways, with more frequency, with more confidence. It seems to be, and same blade I used yesterday. And so I think I'm going to end up with a closer shave, even though this feels smoother than the Game Changer. I am glad I'm doing this test. Now I can advise my friend with some very useful information. I mean, if you can get more comfort and smoothness and the more efficient shave, see, sometimes those don't go together. If you can get the comfort and the smoothness with the efficiency, with that closeness, that's even better than a razor that's not quite as smooth. That Razor Rock Game Changer is still, I enjoy it. It's still kind of smooth. But at least on my face, now, it depends on the face, but at least on my face, this may just be the better razor in most respects. As far as consistency goes, I believe this lather was perfect. It looks terrific, felt great on the face. It gave me excellent protection and glide as I was working. The razor just moved effortlessly. It has a nice, slick feel to it. And creaminess, really good rinses. They felt luxurious, like you're at a spa or something like that. So very happy on that regard with this mix. I just used 30 seconds of loading and 2.5 teaspoons of water. But like I said in the beginning, I probably had maybe 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of water in the brush that I didn't shake out. That's my normal routine. But very happy with today's lather, and I have just enough for another pass probably if I wanted to, and a little bit of margin there, so it's kind of the perfect, economically speaking, lather as well. Showed you that. In my office, I've got my Puzzle Aftershave Splash, so I'll put that on there. I don't have any kind of drying. I haven't had that with Milksteak. You better not, because that's one of its focuses. I think you're getting less shaves per tub because of the post-shave attribute ingredients that have been added. Indeed, I think I've just used this guy, 11 times, and you can really see an indentation in the soap tub there. All right. All right, this is how much it is expanding a little bit after the first shaves. The first shave with it, and maybe kind of 2 lathers built with it, and about half an hour of soaking prior to that initial cleanup lather. And I'm very happy with this brush. In evaluating a Boar brush, because it changes so significantly from that first 4 uses or so, that's a certain stage there where it will have a little bit more backbone because it hasn't opened up and splayed out and worked out yet, and very few tips have split. And then there's that middle stage where you're starting to have tips split, and it is a workable open brush that holds lather like the way it should. With some brushes that may not start until 15 uses or something like that. But there's some Omegas that have been unbleached that it might take a year to get to that point. You know, brushes are different. But my Semogues, all my Semogues have been great to break in, very similar to this. And so there's that middle stage where it is you're able to just enjoy it as a brush, but it's not as soft as it's going to be yet. And who knows how long that is going to last, because all of my Semogues are less than 26 uses old because I just like them so much. I kept buying them, and so many of them are just $15 a piece. I just couldn't kind of help myself. And yeah, I think I do have about 60 shaves on a whipped dog boar maybe, but that's just the maximum. All the other boars are just 26, 30 uses, something like that. And then once you get to that, I don't know, 100, 200 uses, and you've had an enjoyable shaves up to that point, then you start to hit that time where the tips have split, and it just changes to not in a quick way. It just gradually, at some point, all of a sudden you realize how soft it is compared to maybe use number 30 or something like that. And so that's the life of a boar. And so you really have to know, if you're reading online, which stage that person that's reviewing the boar is. And hopefully they're wise enough to tell you this is early on in the boar's life and it's still very soft, so it's going to get even better. Even if it stays like right now, then I'm going to be happy, but I'm happier because I know it's going to get even softer as the uses go by. Very pleased with the handle. It worked very well as always with the Semogues. I thought maybe the handle might be a little slippery, more slippery than the wood in the shaving, because it's not a super long handle. But I didn't have any problems at all, so I'm happy with that. And so, oh look, we've already got a tip that has split 3 ways. Holy cow, is that 4? Or is that 2 strands? Okay, that's got to be 2 strands. But either case, it is at least 2 strands that have split already in just one use. And as it dries, and I see more and more. And as it dries, more and more are going to slowly crack and break, and not break, but split apart and start to separate. And then just with each use, and what I think it is it's the wet and the dry cycle, not necessarily a use, but a wet and the dry cycle that really helps these tips to split. So I like the weight of it too. It's substantial. This handle might be more in terms of weight than the wooden versions, and so that could also affect the feel of this brush as well. So I did not expect it to be that nice of a shave and to give me that so quickly. So I'm glad for the practice lather I did before this shave, and just for the half-hour soaking prior. I told you about the water. So I think what's left is just some cleanup. Face still. I've been doing commentary here and talking with you. No dryness or anything like that. Matter of fact, my face right now, it actually feels like it's been conditioned. And I imagine because it has, because of the different ingredients in the Milksteak base. Let's see if we can spot some. I look like an old man with my silk amino acids, maybe. Grapeseed extract. Sea buckthorn fruit extract. It's a little hard to read because of the font chosen. It's all fun and casual, but hard to read. Milk protein. Oh, shea butter. Lanolin. Bentonite clay. Yogurt. Buttermilk. Egg whites. coconut milk, goat's milk, avocado oil, mango butter, vegetable glycerin, castor oil. Castor oil is the third ingredient. That's probably what is doing a lot of the conditioning there. All right. So that is why my face feels so good after the shave with no post-shave product. If you've got dry skin especially, a soap like this may really be helpful to you. Even if I've heard from some other dry skin friends, and they say that even if they use a kind of a normal soap or even one that's slightly drying, that is too much for them, and a balm can't rescue that. Even a nice nourishing balm after the shave, they have to have something that's nourishing during the shave, like in the soap form, to really help their skin out. So if you've got dry skin, then maybe Milksteak might be a prime soap in your den. I can't remember if I came back to you and told you, but yeah, the closeness today in today's shave, not even a touch-up pass was needed. I got excellent closeness. Just the tips of the hairs is what I'm seeing. Closer than yesterday's Game Changer with the same blade. Maybe even the same soap. I can't remember. But wow. So more comfortable, smoother, and closer. Terrific combination that sometimes you don't see when you compare two razors, and one has a little more aggressive feel. Usually that's the one that can give you a closer shave. Not today. How about that? Well, I'm glad to have that information on hand. I'll definitely pass that on to my friend. All right, I think we're good. Hey, I hope you have a good day. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. And I hope there's been something good in this video that has helped you out. Take care.